She was walking back into a safe space, an environment where she once spilled her truth, ignited a media firestorm, and flipped the global narrative in her favor. That 2021 sit-down with Oprah wasn't just an interview. It was a cultural event that earned Meghan sympathy, headlines, and a whole new level of celebrity. So when she pitched a follow-up, confident that Oprah would be ready to hand her the mic again, she expected a yes. Instead, she got a hard no. And not just any no. This one came from Oprah herself. That single rejection sent shockwaves through Meghan's entire media playbook. Behind the scenes, it was supposed to be her comeback moment, a second primetime sit-down to help her hit reset after 2 rough years filled with PR missteps, failed projects, and a public slowly tuning out. But Oprah's refusal wasn't just about scheduling or timing. It was a loud, deliberate step back, a message that even Meghan's closest media allies were no longer willing to stake their credibility on her brand. The fallout is brutal. When someone like Oprah steps away, others take note. She's not just a talk show host. She's a gatekeeper, a validator, the kind of figure whose support can open doors that would otherwise stay bolted shut. But now that door is closed, and Meghan's left standing in the hallway trying to figure out what went wrong. What makes this even more damning is that Oprah built her empire on empathy, redemption, and giving people second chances. She's not afraid of controversial stories. She built a career out of handling them. But when it comes to Meghan, the calculation has changed. Oprah isn't just walking away from another headline moment. She's walking away from the risk. The backlash from the first interview was intense. Millions watched, millions judged, and while it earned Meghan global attention, it also brought fact checks, criticism, and claims that parts of her story didn't add up. Oprah did what anyone protecting a decades-long career would do. She looked at the optics, measured the risk, and said no. That no hit Meghan hard. According to insiders, she wasn't just disappointed. She was furious. She saw it as a betrayal, not just from Oprah, but from the entire system that used to treat her like royalty, even after she gave up the title. In Hollywood, perception is everything. Meghan's draw used to be magnetic. Her name on a guest list meant cameras, her face on a magazine cover meant sales. But lately, the numbers tell a different story. Projects are stalling, deals are drying up, audiences aren't tuning in like they used to. And once the buzz fades, the industry pulls back fast. One source put it bluntly, the novelty is gone. Meghan's entire post-royal brand was built on controlling the narrative, telling her story her way, with glossy production and strategic timing. But when your biggest megaphone, Oprah, decides not to hand you the mic, the narrative starts slipping from your hands. It's not just the media backing away. Once a name gets marked as risky, publicists, producers, and even stylists start weighing their options. Nobody wants to be tied to a falling star, especially when their own reputation could take a hit by association. Meghan went from being a sought-after guest to a maybe we'll see, let us check. That's a chilling shift in a town where who wants you matters more than who you are. The cracks didn't start with Oprah's rejection. They'd been forming quietly for a while. Meghan's post-royal career thrived on momentum, and for a time, everything she touched became a headline. The Spotify deal made waves, the Netflix docuseries sparked controversy, and every public appearance was analyzed like a royal dispatch. But hype is fragile. When the buzz fades, you're left with the hard question, what's actually working? Spotify was supposed to be a long-term win, a multi-million-dollar deal designed to showcase Meghan's voice. But what started with excitement ended in silence. Only a handful of episodes were released, plagued by production delays, inconsistent content, and lukewarm reviews. Eventually, the partnership fizzled out entirely. Spotify cut ties, sending a clear message. If the audience isn't biting, the platform moves on. Then came the Netflix complications. The docuseries drew in viewers, but failed to be the sustained hit Meghan hoped for. Critics said it leaned too heavily on past grievances, rehashing the royal split without offering anything new. Viewers began to feel like they'd heard it all before, a dangerous place for someone trying to build a future-facing brand. The novelty of a royal gone rogue only carries you so far if the story doesn't evolve. Yet Meghan still believes in her original blueprint, the idea that with the right platform, lighting, and interviewer, she can steer the conversation. But audiences remember the inconsistencies, unanswered questions, and contradictions from past interviews. Any new sit-down isn't a blank slate, it's a reignition of old debates. Oprah wasn't willing to burn her hands twice. Behind the scenes, Meghan's team has been scrambling. She's been aggressively pitching new content ideas, documentaries, series, even branded products to keep her brand alive. But Hollywood isn't buying like it used to. Executives are skittish, focus groups unimpressed, and there's a growing sense that the Meghan Markle brand peaked too early and burned too fast. Even PR strategists who once lined up to work with her are hesitating. One high-profile agent reportedly walked away from a potential deal, citing too much baggage. In an industry built on clean narratives and easy promotion, that's a death knell. When your story becomes too complicated to sell, people stop trying. There's also image fatigue. Meghan has told her story so many times in so many formats that even sympathetic audiences are starting to check out. Themes like racism, betrayal, and isolation, once urgent and fresh, now feel recycled. The lack of new material fuels the perception that she's stuck in the past, unable to pivot or reinvent. Reinvention is everything in showbiz. Stars survive by adapting, by sensing public mood shifts and changing with them. Meghan hasn't done that. She's still trying to fight the same war with the same strategy on a battlefield that's already moved on. And with Oprah out of the picture, there's no one left to frame her story in a way that feels fresh or compelling. The real fear for Meghan isn't losing fame, it's losing control. She's watched her story be picked apart, twisted, and memeified. Without a trusted platform to reset the conversation, that story now belongs to the internet, tabloids, and her critics. In the royal world she left behind, power came from titles. In the Hollywood world she chose, power comes from attention, and hers is slipping fast. Hollywood doesn't announce when it's done with someone, it just stops answering the phone. That's the stage Meghan is entering now. The slow fade, the unreturned calls, the we'll circle back meetings that never happen. For someone who once had the media machine in the palm of her hand, the silence is deafening. And worse, she knows exactly what it means. Elite circles that once embraced her are beginning to treat her as a liability. It's no longer about personal friendships, it's about reputations, brands, and the consequences of aligning with someone the public no longer trusts. Oprah's move wasn't isolated. It was a signal. If she's walking away, others will follow. Gayle King, Ellen DeGeneres, Trevor Noah, names that once seemed like future collaborators are now keeping their distance quietly, carefully, strategically. The domino effect is real. Meghan's upcoming media appearances have reportedly been postponed indefinitely, a phrase often used when producers don't want to burn bridges, but also don't want the heat. Even philanthropic boards, usually safe ground for public figures in crisis, are reassessing. One charity source admitted they didn't want the distraction of Meghan's name attached to their next campaign. That kind of rejection isn't just professional, it's personal. Inside her circle, frustration is growing. Whispers say Meghan feels abandoned, betrayed, even punished for speaking her truth. But the truth is, it's not what she said. It's how often she kept saying it. The public has a short attention span, and the longer you stay in the spotlight without evolving, the more they turn on you. It's the cruel irony of fame. You have to keep changing just to stay in place. With few safe platforms left, Meghan is staring down a terrifying possibility: the downgrade. Smaller outlets, less editing control, tougher interview questions, and media that won't protect her brand. The shift from A-list to accessible changes everything. Once you lose the illusion of exclusivity, you lose the magic. The narrative stops feeling like a cultural moment and starts feeling like a PR push. That's where Meghan's brand is headed. She tried to rewrite her story on her own terms, and for a while, it worked. She became a symbol of independence, of speaking out, of challenging legacy institutions. But when you position yourself as a disruptor, people expect results. And now, after years of headlines and mixed outcomes, audiences are left wondering, what has she actually built? The foundation is crumbling, not just in the media, but in the public consciousness. There's fatigue now, a quiet eye roll that follows her name. The real danger isn't outrage, it's indifference. When people stop caring enough to criticize, you've lost the cultural spotlight. In Meghan's case, the fall isn't from irrelevance, it's from overexposure. Without Oprah's backing, there's no shield left. Every move will be dissected. Every attempt at a comeback will be met with skepticism. She's no longer seen as a misunderstood outsider. She's becoming the cautionary tale of what happens when you overplay your hand in an industry that only plays by its own rules. What comes next for Meghan Markle isn't about redemption, it's about survival. Can she adapt? Can she pivot? Can she offer something new? If not, the entertainment machine will move on. And that's the final twist in this saga.